Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the James Watson podcast. I forgot for a second what this show was
I've got
called.
this wee thing in my head now, the James Watson show.
Rebrand
Can
again.
can you sing that?
A
Do
jingle.
that for me?
Do you want
Yeah,
a
can
jingle?
you do the jingle
okay,
now?
I'll do a jingle. You'll hear a jingle now and it'll be me singing. Welcome back.
Everyone will do like a 3-minute watch done.
Rude. We're just discussing the fact that James feels like he doesn't actually need me in this setup. And I would quite like to do an episode just him interviewing himself.
Listen,
So this might be the last time you see me.
they reckon talking to yourself is a high form of intelligence.
Yeah.
Every time I read that, it makes me feel like I'm not nuts.
Okay. Well, this might be, I might be done from now on. This might be my last episode.
Replace before we...
There'll still be 2 chairs, so James will jump over and over. So next time you see it will be James featuring James. But whilst I'm still here, thanks for having me. How are you doing today?
You're very welcome.
It's an honour to be here.
I know.
Keeps threatening to fire me.
We're going to do like 40 minutes of pure banter for you today. Pure banter means good laughs, by the way, if you're not from Scotland.
Right. Is it just a Scottish thing, banter?
No, I think UK maybe. Australia. I don't know.
Are you ready? Do you know what we're
Yes.
talking about today?
No idea what we're talking about today.
Not a
Just so
clue.
everybody knows, I don't, all these, for me again, we were talking about authenticity. I just wanted these not to be scripted. I wanted them to come from experience for the heart, for a genuine place. So I don't have a clue what the subject is today. None.
Yeah.
I might get blindsided a couple of times, but you know, whatever.
So we're going to talk 40 minutes about the pros of working with me.
Won't take 40 minutes.
Today's whole episode
Quickest
is
podcast ever.
the joy of having me as part of your career. No, today we're going to talk about back to high performance. Obviously, a few episodes back, we spoke about, I guess, the basics of high performance.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk about the kind of mindset and the psychology of being a high performer.
Okay.
I think quite an apt place to start, given everything we've just spoken about, is how important is self-awareness in high performance and being a high performer and to sustaining it as well. Because I think some people can get to that high level.
Yep.
Maybe I have no self-awareness.
Yep.
And can't manage to stay there and sustain it. So how important is that?
How are you supposed to manage yourself if you don't know yourself? As you can tell by my face, I'm like, you know, if I'm a high performing person, I'm somebody who can get myself to perform at the highest level. It's going to sound a little bit weird, but always like, I have to coach me, I have to manage me, I have to push me, I have to argue with me, I have to argue with my lazy self, I have to argue with my unambitious version of me, I have to argue with the person that suffers from anxiety and confidence issues. And so if I'm not aware and emotionally intelligent and I'm not self-aware of who I am and what makes me tick, how am I supposed to get the best out of myself?
Yeah.
So you have to be self-aware. I always teach, when I'm teaching people to lead and manage and push, I'm like, you have to learn how to do those things for yourself first, because then it's easy to do other people, because I know how to get the best out of me. And if I know how to get the best out of me, I can then just teach you to do what I already do for myself. So I think the transfer of information is really easy if you're talking for experience. If you read a book on high performance or leadership or sales, you got to live and breathe what you're teaching. So especially if you're going to lead people, how are you supposed to?
So how do you practice being self-aware? Because I think we've spoken about this before. If not on the podcast, we've definitely had conversations before that your mind a lot of the time does things as a protection and does things and thinks things to protect yourself. So, you know, how do you practice being self-aware and being able to be honest and be able to be very conscious of your flaws or the things that you're maybe, you know, not doing as you should be or to the level you should be doing it? Because as we've said before, your brain will kind of try ignore that or try make an excuse for it or try override it. So how do you practice being self-aware? Any tips on that?
I spend a lot of time in silence. Someone says to me the other week, they're like, you spend a lot of time yourself, don't you? And I'm
Yeah.
like, but we don't mean a lot of time myself in my own head, as in I spend 5 hours a day on my own. When I get the time for things to be quiet, so like driving here in the car today, again, the car and the radio's on, I turned it off.
Not music. Was it musicals?
No, it was in like, I suppose normal TV, normal radio. The only time I play music in my car is when the kids are in the car, because I'm not on my own, right? But any chance I get to be myself with my thoughts, and because I think a lot of the time people are either scared to be in their own thoughts,
Yeah.
or they don't give themselves a chance to be. It's like trying to manage someone you don't spend time with. If you don't spend time with yourself, with your own thoughts, how are you supposed to know what's really going on in your head if it's not quiet? Like the amount of times my wife will walk into a dark room and I'm just in a room sitting, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just deep in thought."
Staring into the abyss sort of thing.
My idea of heaven sometimes is 5 hours myself with nothing going on, and it's because I need to process and think, and I need to know what's going on internally here. I need to know how I feel. I need to know internally what I'm thinking. I need to know why I'm thinking it. Am I not want to go to the gym because my body's telling me that it's time to take a rest, or is it they're lazy me not want to go to the gym?
Yeah.
What part is, because I need to learn to listen. Because sometimes I don't go to the gym because my body gone, you need, I've got wee trackers and things I can do for stress levels. I wear a whoop and I take my heart rate and HVR, and I do wee things to indicate and maybe back up what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Things like when I go to eat food. You were with me in the car last week. I was knackered. I've been going solid for 6 days. From 6 in the morning to 11 at night. We went to drive home and I hit a wall and I was crashing. And my body's craving sugar. And I'm like, do I want sugar for dopamine, or is my body genuinely saying,
Need the fuel.
do you need fuel? You need quick energy now or you're going to be in danger? And I ate some sugar and I was like, I was good. And so I think it's second guessing how you feel something, why you feel it. And then for me, I suppose the next part is what my body and mind are telling me do actually good for me.
Yeah.
As it's not even so much good for me, is it good for what I'm trying to accomplish? And then sometimes I'll go to eat the food and I'm like, I'm just chasing dopamine. I'm being greedy because I'm sitting doing nothing and my body's maybe a wee bit bored and chasing it, right? I want the sugar because it looks good and tastes good, not because I actually need some sugar in my system. So it's not just acting in things, it's actually gone deep inside. And you mentioned in the other episode about psychoanalyzing people and how I do it. I do that with myself more than anybody else. When I have a feeling or I have a thought, I question it. And that's why I need silence, because like, why do I feel like this? Why am I thinking that? Is this the right action for me to take? Am I taking the action for the right reason? Does it push me towards what I'm trying to do, or does it take me away from what I'm trying to do? And it's 1,000 wee decisions a day. I ate a cookie last night from the fridge. Sorry, Molly. I ate my
cookies, actually.
I ate my daughter's cookies, man. I thought she didn't want them. And I was just dead. And I ate them because I thought I needed sugar. And I thought I needed sugar. And then I went on the next call and I felt the energy boost. And it was a good call. So that was my body saying, you're going to go on this call flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
And I just like, I need quick energy because again, I was knackered. It's 9 o'clock at night. I don't usually do it, but something in me was saying, eat some sugar, get some, because there's not a lot of things you can get like snappy, quick burst. I don't drink Red Bull. I'm not going to drink coffee at that time of night. I seen the cookies and I'm like, I ate it. Once I come off the call, I remember thinking, I'm actually glad I ate that sugar, because I came in the call and the people had a lot of energy and a lot of questions. And if I'd been flat, I wouldn't have handled it well, because especially in a sales game, if your energy is higher than my energy, you're in control of the conversation. So it was my body saying, we need some energy for this just in case. Or sometimes when I go to the gym, it's like my body, I crave a wee something and I take it, and then halfway during the workout, I'm like, that's why my body was telling me to do this. So I think it's going to sound a little bit happy and spiritual. I'm just really in touch with me and all the wee voices that go on in my head, and and then questioning why the wee voices are happening.
So that's you though, because you've had 23 years of this, and I think even in the last 5 years, I would say you've got to know yourself a lot more and become a lot more in tune with yourself.
I've had to.
Not everybody will be at that stage. Not everybody will be at that stage where they can be. So what advice would you have to those people who aren't at that stage where they can just sit with themselves and be raw and real with themselves and you know, aren't maybe as in sync with themselves as you maybe are.
Okay, so on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think two things. I didn't naturally do this.
Yeah.
Again, we say this. Now it might seem like this is who I am now. It wasn't who I was 5 years ago, maybe even a year ago. Every year I evolve, right? And as somebody who's trying to grow as a person, I can't not evolve in a year. So who I am this year is not who I was last year either. So I do the same stuff. I just do it in a better level. So two things. One, find a coach who can be that honest with you. Find somebody you'll allow to be honest. Like I don't know, I had coaches in the beginning who helped me understand myself and told me when I was being lazy and all this kind of stuff. So when I want to get somewhere that I've never been before, the smartest thing to do is go find somebody who's been there, who you respect, trust, look up to, and who you will allow to be completely and utterly honest with you. So I need somebody to do it. Two, I read a lot of books in psychology. I'm fascinated by me. I'm fascinated too. It's twofold. Obviously, I love managing people, looking after people, I want to grow companies. So I knew I was going to have to understand human behaviours and how to get the best out of people and how their minds worked.
Yeah.
And everybody's so different. There's so much. But I wanted to first of all learn how to get the best out of myself. So every book I've never read the book in sales, never read the book in managing people. I've read more books on human behaviours and human psychology than anything else, but it was never about how I got the best out of people.
Yeah.
It's how do I tick?
Yeah.
How do I get the best out of myself? So I would find a coach in whatever you're trying to get good at, whatever, and read, watch podcasts, listen to podcasts, just find the thing, but listen to it. You everything starts in your head. What you think creates how you feel. How you feel creates what you do, and what you do creates what you get. So if I learn how to manage this thing in here and control my thought process and know how to deal with it, and when it's serving me and when it's fighting against me, try to serve me.
Yeah.
Then if I can manage the brain, everything else just follows that.
Yeah.
So again, I never read any books on anything else other than, you know, how the brain works. And I still love it. I'd love to, if I went to uni, I'd love to go do psychology, neuroscience. There's loads of things that later in life I'm going to do it because it fascinates me. Your brain's a beautiful wee thing, but it's a great, powerful tool, but it's also a really dangerous enemy if it's not controlled. But that enemy's like the villain who thinks they're saving the planet by blowing the planet up, like a Thanos idea in Marvel, right? Wants to kill, he wants to sacrifice half the universe, but it's for the greater good of the universe. Your brain's like that. It wants to, it's not against you, it's for you, but those things go against a lot of the things you're trying to accomplish sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you see, it's evident just now, done. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a wee rant in the gym this morning because I went into my gym. It's been busy over the summer and the dark mornings come in and no one's there. No, I hear this right now. Oh, it's dark. It's hard to get up, and I'm like, it's just a bullshit excuse that your brain just gave you an excuse, and you accepted the excuse.
Yeah.
What the hell is the sun not being in the sky? Especially if you're in Scotland, it's not like it was warm. What's the sun being in the sky at 6 in the morning and not got to do with your ability to go to your bed and go to the gym? And actually put on this morning if you're using, I took a picture of the empty gym, and like if you're using dark mornings as an excuse not to go to the gym and take care of yourself, shame on you. High performance isn't seasonal.
Yeah.
Again, that's people's heads. They go, no, it's winter and, you know, you need to stay in and it's cold outside and don't get up when it's dark, and we start to listen to it. Because your brain doesn't, because when you get up in the dark, it's not as nice. When you get up in cold, it's not as nice. You feel more uncomfortable and a little more tired. So your brain wants you to feel good. So it gives you that as a reason just to stay in your bed and stay cozy. But I'll tell you this right now, the pain of when you give in to that, a lot of people go through life with regret. If I drop dead today, I won't regret anything. Mm-hmm. So your ability to control that means that you'll never regret. So the person that didn't get up this morning to go to the gym because it's dark, I guarantee at 3 o'clock this afternoon start to regret it. I wish I'd went to the gym this morning. I wish I got my bed. I hear this stuff all the time. So I think being aware, and I suppose it comes, an easy way to describe it is learning how to control yourself and control your impulses and control your discipline and control your thought process. And you got to argue with yourself a lot because the lazy you, the underconfident you, the safe you is always going to try and go, danger, danger, danger. Don't do that. It might up.
Yeah.
Might go really good, and danger's like, yeah, but it could go terrible.
There's a good hack that I've heard you talk about loads before. Actually, I've not heard you talk about it for a few years now, but you used to talk about it all the time. And it was the only person that you can't lie to is yourself.
Yep.
So go look in a mirror and try lie to yourself, and you cannot do it.
Yep.
So it's also just trying that sort of thing. It's just like having those conversations with yourself in the mirror of, I gave it everything, or, I am a good student, or like all this sort of stuff. And I think you'll start to quickly realize when you are lying to yourself a bit, or have more of a warped perception of yourself.
Yeah. And an easy indication if you gave it everything is how quick you fall asleep when you sit down or lie down. I'm at 120 seconds right now, I think.
Yeah.
I sat to watch a movie with my wife last night. I suggested not going to bed. I'm like, let's not go to bed, let's go watch this show Monster on Netflix just now. It's really good, you wouldn't like it. But
I would hate it. Is that the serial killer?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Awesome acting. I'm watching it generally for the acting, right? Really love him.
No, they were talking about it in the office the other day, and I had to leave because I was like,
It's fire.
I honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going to be sick.
Yeah, anyway. But it's so funny because Brody laughs. She's like, just, we'll go to bed. And I'm like, no, we'll sit down. But as soon as I sit down and start working, I just do. But I like that too, because that's an indication that I gave it everything that day. But yeah, the whole look in the mirror thing. I used to do that with people in sales physically. I'm like, how was today? And they're like, I tried my hardest. And when I wanted to second guess, I'd say, come with me. And they'd say, what is it? I go, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you gave it everything today. And you physically see people go, I got really lazy at this time today, and it's so funny. It's so funny because you know it's lies. So looking yourself, you have to be a real nutter to be able to look yourself in the eye and do it. So you have to, you're right, that is a little hack. I thought you were going to talk about the getting up in the first alarm and it being your first decision there.
No, but that's also wise.
If you get into winter and it's dark, what you've got to understand is when your alarm clock goes off, it's the first decision. I stopped setting my own alarm when I seen this about 3 years ago. You'll remember, you're working when I done it. I used to be like everybody else, and I'd set a first, a second, a third, a backup, and an emergency alarm, which is, if I don't get up on this one, I'm done and I don't get there. And your alarm going off in the morning, again, regardless of season and weather and sun in the sky or not, and time zones, whatever, it's the first decision you make that day. So if you start your day in a good decision, you'll start on a good foot. If you start your day in a bad, and again, let's go through the discipline versus regret. No one ever regrets getting up in first alarm, but everybody regrets not. So I just don't want to go through my day regretting a decision. So I need to understand the decisions I'm making and make sure they benefit me so I don't regret things, because regret's a really heavier weight. Again, another wee quote is the weight of regret far outweighs the weight of discipline. Mm-hmm. So again, but if I don't understand and in touch with my decision making and me and my emotions and my impulses and lazy me and all this, then I might do some things that I go to my bed at night regretting my day. And if you go to your bed regretting your day, you wake up feeling a little bit of regret. You do a couple of days like that and all of a sudden you have all this weight on your shoulders, like you're not going anywhere. And you see that with people that skip the gym. People that usually go to the gym don't go for 3 days. Watch them in day 4. It's kind of like they give up. They're like, oh, but then they're the same people who complain about their body shape or how tired they are. And it's just to get into this. It's called a rut. See, I also know the dangers of me deteriorating very quickly if I'm not on top of all this stuff. It can go the other way very fast. And unfortunately, you have to manage it on a day-to-day basis, because those wee parts of you and your brain are always going to be kicking about, wait to jump at a second's notice.
Yeah. No, I think it is important, and all of that is so important, of being very self-aware and knowing yourself, and, being a high performer, you do need to know your psychology and your kind of mindset and stuff. I think another thing that you have to do when it comes to your mind is rewire your beliefs of what is possible. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel like, as a high performer who always wants to achieve more and who always wants to up their level and, get better and better and better, mm-hmm. how important is being able to rewire your brain, and how do you go about that?
How do I go about rewiring my belief system? I always try and get around or read or study people that are better than you and smarter than you. I think that's one. So I always compare myself to people that and try and surround myself with people that are better, because it makes me realise that I've got to get better. Is a bit, I couldn't think how to explain that there, but I think first of all that makes me feel like I don't know a lot, which makes me feel like I need to get a little bit better. Hanging about with those people also gives me belief, because no matter how smart you are or how far on in business you are, you're a human being. What have you got on me? Experience? You know, maybe you're using some jargon I don't understand. I'm 2 sentences for ChatGPT for that getting broken down to me like I'm a 5-year-old, and I do that a lot. I do that a lot when I feel stupid in a conversation.
Yeah.
You've seen me do this. When someone says a word I don't understand or uses jargon I don't understand, I always have this thing, once is a mistake, twice is a choice. I'll never feel stupid in a conversation with you again, because the next time I come into that conversation, I'm going to be well versed in whatever the hell you were talking about. We're talking about selling companies with someone. We're talking about what they look for in it. And you eat this. And I was the whole time like, yeah. And I didn't know, and I felt really silly in the conversation. Like, this is something I should know as a business person. And I went away and get ChatGPT to break it down to me like I was a 5-year-old and what it actually meant. And it's funny because that jargon just meant gross profit before taxes. It was just a fancy way of saying it. Like, how could the person just say that?
Yeah.
But when they spoke to me about it, I felt really stupid. I'm like, please don't ask me to explain this. But by hanging about people that talk smarter than you, are smarter than you, are better than you, it makes you feel belittled a little bit, but I don't like that feeling, so I go away and do more. But again, going back to they're just human beings. Like, if you've got experience on me, I just need to be a good student to catch up with that. You might just be a harder worker, so I just have to work a little bit harder. And it's also, I'm always stretching myself. So it's called getting in flow state, flow state, which is, if my skill level's here, I'm always trying to operate here. I was on a call yesterday with a guy that runs our ads, Oscar and Harris, and things are going good, like really good in that company. Things are going really good. And he's like, what we're going to do when this gets better, because evidently it's going to get better. And I says, you learn by biting off more than you can chew and chewing like fuck. That is it. We do not, because I'm only going to grow if I'm willing to go through the pain. I try to do it. But every time you get through that, every time you bite off more than you can chew and you challenge yourself, if your skill level's here and you operate here, well, what happens eventually when you get through it? Your skill level comes up. And then I have a wee bit more belief. And then I'm like, well, if I got from here to here, I can get from there to there. Actually, this conversation with my wife this morning, we've had this numerous times. And I'm like, if you can grow a company that does £100,000 a month, why can't you grow a company that does 1 million? And if you can do 1 million, why can't you do 10? And if you can do 10, why can't you do 100? And if you can do 100, why can't you do a bill? Yeah, you're going to have to learn different things. And running, £1 million a month business is very different for 100 grand a month business. But there's millions of the companies out there. Well, millions is maybe an exaggeration, but there's lots of people before you've done it. So I know it's possible. So now I know what I want. You got to go. We've talked a lot about hypothesis this week. So we do where do we want to be, and then where am I? Where do I want to be, and what's the gap? Is it a skill gap? Is it an effort gap? Is it a people gap? And then I just fill the gap. So I've got, all right, I have to learn something new. No problem. Go learn something new. Then when I learn something new, and then my belief system comes up a little bit. So I suppose as you grow, so does your belief system. I think your belief system, like ambition, confidence, all that stuff is like a muscle. I've got to work it and overload it, but after a while it won't hurt at that point anymore. And then if I want to get stronger again, I've got to keep pushing it, hurting it, overloading it, but I'll get stronger.
Yeah.
I think I just challenge it all the time. And I go through the same wee things, because even just now we're just about to hit one of the big goals that we set 5 years ago. Even part of me is like, shit, but now my head's already in how do I double it next year? Again, I was having this conversation with my wife this morning. I'm like, we're going to hit our goal. And she's like, that's amazing. I'm like, no, we just need to know how to double it.
Yeah.
But the first one we hit was the hardest, because we went for no experience to here, right? So I think your first year or 5 years in an industry and whatever you're doing will be the hardest. After that, it's just, I'd probably say 80% of it's doubling down on what you've already done.
Yeah.
There'll be 20% of things you need to learn as you scale you scale a business. But there'll be points where we question ourselves, there'll be points where we want to quit, but that's growth.
Yeah. I also think it's like, we've said this before, I think we might have said it a couple of episodes back actually. There's not really anything nowadays that people can do that somebody hasn't already done. So if somebody else can do it, why can't you? And I think it's just like knowing that there is there's always somebody that you can look at and say, well, it is obviously possible because so-and-so's done it. So I think it's just having that belief of like, okay, this is actually doable because people have done it before.
Yep.
So I think it's really important to be aware of people that have achieved the things that you want to achieve already.
Yep.
Be it in a coach or whatever it may be. I think probably the biggest pitfall, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the biggest thing that gets in people's way or stops people reaching that level that they had potential that they could get to or they had aspirations to get to is the ability to recover from a failure of some description. I think that's the thing where I think, and we've seen it a lot in sales alone, like the amount of people that have had so much potential and we get so excited when they come in because you can see just so much potential in them, but then they have a bad week or, you know, whatever it may be. And they just can't get over that, or they get to a point where they're running their own company and they've had a bad year or whatever, and they just can't move past that. I think that not being able to process failure and have the bravery, I don't even know if that's the right word, to go again, and being able to be like, I guess the relentlessness or the grit to go again. Why do you, or how would you recommend people deal with that failure, and what sort of mindset do you have towards it?
Except you're going to feel miserable lots. The bigger you want to be, the harder you're going to fall and the more times you're going to fall.
Yeah.
Again, go study successful people. Don't go study what they've got. Study what they went through to get it. Study any sports person, the childhood, anybody that's built a $1 billion business, and you'll see they've all got loads of stories of failure. They all know they could go bankrupt overnight, and they're all willing to go bankrupt overnight but go away and do it again. So I think, first of all, when you get into anything where you're going to try and any profession in the world, you don't have to be an entrepreneur or a sports person. Like, when you're going to try and be a high performer in that industry, then you're setting yourself up to go through a lot of failures.
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to get it right. Things aren't always going to go your way. You sometimes might. Again, I was talking to my wife about this, about, you know, it's really good the way that company's going. I'm like, it could all be finished overnight. We're one mistake away from it all going belly up. I'm one sentence away from it all going belly up at any time. And if it does, so be it. I think you never fail. You never start again. This is something I try and teach people when I'm coaching them in sales or they're running a company. Or I'm like, they're like, you know, I'm starting from scratch. I'm like, well, actually, you're not. You're starting from experience. Because every time I fail, I now have some experience to start again. So ideally, I should start from a better position from what I started from the first time. And again, eventually that experience will equate to success over time. I think Walt Disney went bankrupt 9 times. I think if you see that, Elon Musk has Elon Musk has had some failures along the way. But you don't see the failures because nobody promotes the failures. Michael Jordan got let off. He couldn't play basketball at his high school team or something like that. Sat in his room, cried for 3 days. And so sometimes the failure is actually the best thing to happen to you, because also what failure does for you is gives you a thing called backwards motivation. Everybody talks about motivation, with forwards motivation, which I'm motivated to get this. There's also stuff I'd never want to get back to. You know, I remember having no money to buy milk and bread and looking down the back of the couch for change to buy stuff. And I remember I never felt so poor and so horrible in my life, right? I know, unfortunately, there's people that go through that every day, but I remember how horrible that felt. I just never wanted to feel that again. I've failed miserably. I've lost money, I've lost people, I've lost relationships, and you know, and 9 times out of 10 it's because of something I done or didn't do. It was controllables. So what did I learn? I learned some shit to do, and I learned some shit not to do, and I went on to the next relationship or on to the next business, and I'm like, all right, there's plenty of times where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. And so I think when you do fail, as in things, and again, there's another wee quote that says, no such thing as failing, only quitting. Right? If something doesn't go the way I want to do, and I go bankrupt or I lose the relationship or the business, whatever, right? I got to take some time to process it the same way a sports star does. All right, I lost. First of all, I have to accept the loss. I have to accept the 0. And an easy way of doing that is just, that's life. I already knew I was going to fail before I got into it, so my expectations are met. It happened. I knew it was going to go belly up at some point. Then I asked myself a couple of questions. What did I learn to do? What did I learn not to do? And is it a will thing or is it a skill thing? Was it my lack of effort that made this not go the right way? And if it is, then I've got to ask myself if I'm willing to actually put in the effort. If I did put in the effort and there's a skill gap, I've got to make sure I fill that skill gap before I go start again. So that's it. That's all it ultimately comes down to, is will or skill. That's it. And the skill part eventually comes back to will. Are you willing to go away and learn and get experience in the things you need to get you to where you go? And are you willing to go through pain for a long period of time? And the bigger you want to be in an industry, in any profession, then the more pain you're going to go through and the more failures you're going to do. You know, maybe not the nicest subject to talk about. Like, a midwife deals with failure every day. Not every baby's all right. Cops deal with failure every day. Don't catch every bad person, right? It's just, so failure's just the name of the game. Again, if I'm going to be the top surgeon in the world, I'm going to lose some people on the table. It's part of the, you can't save everybody, right? But it's a part of any success in any industry across the world. And I think before you enter it, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to accept the downside? Because the people that are the best at it are the people who are at peace with it all gone bad before they even start it. That's it's called the fear of failure sometimes holds people back, where you got to get it fearlessly going. And it's one thing I noticed about people like Richard Branson and that, they've got a plan for going bankrupt and having nothing, because they know they're just one move away from it. And they're at peace with it. Like, if it happens, it means I screwed up somewhere, I didn't know something. You only know what you know, and you can only do what you can do. So at least I'll go away, recoup, and then I'll come back and start again. But again, you start from experience, you don't start from scratch.
Yeah. No, and I think it's like you're saying, I think it's just your perspective on it. And it's like, okay, we go again. And okay, this is I guess the wins from this failure, and this is what I can take from it, and this is a positive I can take from it. I think, you know, you always have to be a high performer, or you always have to have that kind of positive mindset towards it, you know. And I don't get me wrong, you can use like frustration or whatever in a good way, but I think ultimately you have to look at it like, okay, I failed this time. What can I take from that to go forward? Mm-hmm. What is the win in that? What lessons did I learn? And I think it goes back to maybe what we spoke about first, is just like, how can you be self-aware?
Yeah.
And how can you be kind of conscious of what went wrong so you can fix that next time?
I think also people don't know how they'll accept failure until you accept it.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the idea of getting the ring, but nobody knows how they're going to feel when they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
You don't know until it happens. And another thing I teach people is, some people have got more seasons in them than others. I explain it in football terms for anybody who's watching. I apologise. Or any sport, you see someone come on and play at the top flight, so they'll be good in like League 4, League 3, League 2, League 1, and then they're going to Premier League. But when they hit that level, they fail at that level and go back, and they never get back up to that level. They get one good season in them. You know, a one-hit wonder band that make one good song and then never make a hit record again. So, but again, you don't know how many seasons you've got until you try. I've got a lot of seasons in me.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy. Wouldn't want to start from scratch again.
But you could.
If I had to, and I think it comes back to what your goal, your mission, and your purpose is for going on that endeavour in the first place. Like, I just have, now I'm thinking about, we all know I turned 46 next month because I'm very vocal about my age all the time, right? I take a lot of pride in being old and still being able to give it some. Everything I do just now is for when I'm 55. So everything I'm doing just now, so even if I do go hard for the next year, everything goes belly up. To me, I've still got time, because my goals and my purpose are so big and so far into the future that, yeah, I've got time. I give myself time to screw up, and I give myself time to be behind schedule. Even this year, I'm 4 or 5 months behind everything I thought I'd do. That's just life.
Yeah.
And I could sit here and cry and blame a lot of things, but who's to blame me?
Won't change it.
Obviously didn't do it.
Yeah.
I was overconfident what I could accomplish in a certain time frame, and I made some bad decisions.
If you sit here and cry about it and complain about it, that's not going to change anything. So you're just delaying getting back to it, you know. And I think
I had to tell my own wife I messed up. I'm like, I'm sorry, I screwed my year up. Hence why I'm not going on holiday next week. I'm like, I made some bad decisions. They were good decisions at the time, I've said this to you actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, I messed up. I screwed something up. I made a mistake. I'll never make it again in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Because it's painful.
Yeah. Delayed gratification.
And backwards motivation of I never want to go through that again.
Yeah, 100%. I think a place where it would be a good place to end if somebody did want to work on.
End already.
Yeah, we are.
We've been talking for 40 minutes.
Sorry.
And I've been talking for 40 minutes.
Yeah. Time is flying because you're having a
Not
good time.
everybody.
Yeah.
I hope something in there was a good takeaway for you.
But I think a place where I wanted to end on, if somebody did want to kind of start strengthening their mindset and did start want to kind of developing a better psychology about themselves, what's one place they could start, one habit that they could start with, or one small change that they could start making today to start working on their mindset?
Just challenge something. There's loads of ways for challenging your mindset. There's don't eat food. Don't smoke the cigarette or the vape if you do it for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Test your mentality. You know, sometimes in purpose. Sometimes, it's going to sound nuts. Sometimes I hold my breath just to see how long I can go with it. I just want to see.
What's your record?
I can do just over 2 minutes.
That's quite impressive.
I've actually got a good. I do a lot of breath work, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's quite unfair to. But sometimes when I'm doing like a dead man's hang, I just cling on and to see how long I can cling on for, and that's 153 I can do. It's raging because it wasn't 2. Just now and again, I just want to test myself and see where I'm at, and then I retest myself again and see if I've moved forward. Something like fasting for me is a good test of discipline. If you don't go to the gym, the easiest way to test your resilience and your brain and your mentality and all that stuff is go to the gym and do something that's painful where your whole brain's just saying, please stop this now, and see how long you can do it for. Remember, Muhammad Ali, as everybody will know. Please tell me you know who Muhammad Ali is.
Float like butterfly, sting like a bee.
The greatest boxers ever to grace the planet, and personalities ever to grace the planet. Right, guy was phenomenal. I watched a reporter say to him, how many sit-ups do you do in the gym? And he says, I don't know. I only start counting when it hurts.
Like a David Goggins thing, he does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, true. Goggins is probably the recent person for that, but he's like, the sit-ups you do till it hurts don't actually count because they're not doing anything. That's where you can do it. It's the ones after it.
Yeah.
When your body goes, okay, this is painful, that's then you building that. So there's loads of things you can do for your own. Try and sit and not, this is another one. Try and put your phone away for 3 hours. Try it. Try it. Try it. I guarantee you 90% of people watching this can't put their phone away for 3
No,
hours.
it's so hard. One of my things I'm working on at the moment is practicing being bored. And that's
You were telling me this.
Yeah. And I was like, I get an itch after like 10 minutes. I'm like, I have to.
Because you live in a world of dopamine and instant gratification. You never have to be bored. It's actually a good. I forgot you done that, but again, I do a lot of these wee things just to see sometimes.
Yeah.
That's that. So I think just testing yourself, take a bit of pride, but it also builds your confidence because let's just say holding breath. I can hold my breath in month 1 for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I get to month 2 and I can do it for a minute. I'm twice as good at something. So that means that I've got better, which builds my belief system, which we'll go back to again.
Yeah.
So any chance I get to test my discipline, I do it. Sometimes I don't drink water in the sauna because I want to see if I can handle 30 minutes in the sauna without drinking water. It's just, for me, it's just because I know my brain's going to go nuts and say, why are you doing this to me? Please drink. And sometimes I just take the water in so that it's right in front of me and my brain will play and I'll play games and I'll argue.
You're a sick man, Watson.
What was the story? You tell everybody the story about you training and saying that I was a sick person. Just when you says you're a sick man.
Yeah, so I started with a PT the other day and I
started
home.
Watching our podcast and taking advice.
I got home and I was sick. And I was lying on my bathroom floor for 45 minutes. And I thought, that man is so twisted that he likes this.
Hey, I tell my trainer or health coach, asked him for more training the other week and he says, I'm going to have to check the legalities of me giving you more training.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my training's got too easy. My thing in the gym is if I don't feel like I'm going to die, I don't feel like I'm stretching stuff.
Yeah.
I need to be out of breath. I need to be sweating. I need to be struggling. I need to be weak. I need to leave the gym feeling like I'm shaking, which means it's attacked my nervous system and I want to go back to my bed because I know that every time I feel like that, I've pushed the boundary a wee bit more and I didn't want to do it. That doesn't mean I enjoy it.
I think secretly it does.
I don't enjoy I enjoy what it does for me. There's a difference. But a lot of that in the gym I do is for my head.
You enjoy it, you sick
No,
man.
during the time I hate it. No. I had to do a lot of handstand press-ups this morning and I hated it. It was horrible.
Well, what we both know, what we've both enjoyed is this today. Yeah. We had a great time. Well, I enjoyed myself then, and I'm sure you did because you just got to talk for 40 minutes.
I know, but the only reason we do these is to try and add some actual real value. Feel free to leave some comments if you think some positive feedback or negative would be good. Maybe we talk too much, maybe we don't go through enough points. I'd like to know also if it does add some value, because sometimes I just feel like an old man talking shit, falling on deaf ears. So I just hope there's some things in there that if somebody is watching to get a bit of an education, they go, I'm going to go away and try that and help them get a wee bit better. Even if one person watches this and gets a little bit better at life, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, we're open to feedback. Like the feedback of James doesn't need me, so you probably won't see me again.
For all your haters, I don't get paid for this, all right? We do this for free.
Yeah, TikTok lovers.
Yeah. What was it the guy says to me? I hope you're watching. Do you get paid for this, Keish?
No,
Pie, did
it
even
wasn't
spell
even
paid,
English. It wasn't even English. I feel like that is your first hater because he's like appeared on most of your videos now.
Aye. Do you know what's funny? That's what stopped me going online for years. Remember, I was like, nah, I can't be bothered. And now I'm like, whatever. If you give me shit for trying to add some value to people makes you feel better, give me a shit.
Well, where can they find you online to go give you shit?
We always get stuck at this one, don't we?
Yeah.
You can find me as James Watson on LinkedIn.
Fantastic.
I don't talk about a lot of this stuff though. We do a lot of different stuff on LinkedIn. If you like the high performance stuff and you're looking for high performance content, the best place to go, obviously you can see these in YouTube. Just now there's like maybe 23, 24 different podcasts on there, or on high performance sales leadership. So you can go on YouTube, you can find me in _James_Watson. I'm on Instagram for daily things. We post stuff daily now. Someone told us not to do daily, but we do every single day. Slacking on the stories a little bit just now. There's definitely loads of content there, so you can find us there. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Fantastic. I think that was all of them.
Obviously, like and follow.
Yes. You're also on Threads now.
Yeah, I know. I just don't understand it yet.
No, I clicked in the other day. I was like, what is this? And I was like, how have I clicked something like when we're uploading stuff?
They kept telling me people were on Threads. I should go on Threads. I just agreed with Instagram.
Anyone use Threads?
That just says yes.
Find him on Threads if you like Threads. I imagine that's also the _James_Watson. But I've had a great time. Thank you so much. I've had a great run. I'll probably never see you all again.
Like and subscribe if you're not already liking and subscribing. And if it's your first time here, thanks for watching. I hope you come back. And if you're somebody who watches this all the time, thanks very much for entertaining us.
Wonderful. Bye, everyone.
Bye.